Few architects shaped the Renaissance architecture more profoundly than Donato Bramante. He was the architect who transformed Rome into the center of high Renaissance architecture. He introduced monumental classical order, geometric clarity, and spatial harmony that influenced generations of architects. His work laid the foundation for architects such as Michelangelo, Raphael, and Andrea Palladio. Most importantly, he designed the original plan for one of the most famous buildings in history, St. Peter's Basilica. This is the story of Donato Bramante, the architect who gave form to Renaissance Rome and redefined classical architecture. Bramante was born in 1444 in Urbino, Italy. Urbino was one of the most important cultural centers of the Renaissance. It was a city where art, mathematics, and architecture were deeply connected. Bramante was originally trained as a painter. This artistic background strongly influenced his architectural thinking. Like many Renaissance artists, he was interested in perspective, geometry, classical proportion, and spatial illusion. Painting taught him how to organize space visually. Later, this understanding of perspective would shape his architecture. And Bramante moved to Milan, where he began working as an architect. Here, Bramante worked on several important projects, including St. Mary near St. Ceres, a church in Milan. This church became famous for its illusionistic core. The site was too small to build a deep apse, so Bramante created a perspective illusion that made a space appear deeper than it actually was. Through painting and architectural geometry, he created the illusion of depth. This project demonstrated Bramante's mastery of spatial perception and classical order. He also worked on Santa Maria delle Grazie, where Leonardo da Vinci painted the Last Supper. Milan became the place where Bramante developed his architectural language. After the fall of Milan, Bramante moved to Rome around 1499. Rome was becoming the center of Renaissance architecture. The city was full of ancient Roman ruins. These ruins inspired Bramante deeply. He studied Roman temples, arcs, columns, and classical proportions. Rome became his laboratory for classical architecture. Here he developed the architectural language that would define the High Renaissance. One of the Bramante's most famous work is Tempietto. Built around 1502, the Tempietto is a small circular temple. It was built at the site believed to be the where St. Peter was crucified. The building is small but extremely important. It represents perfect Renaissance architecture. The Tempietto features circular plan, classical columns, harmonious proportions, and centralized geometry. It resembles ancient Rome temples. Everything is balanced and symmetrical. Many historians consider the Tempietto the perfect example of High Renaissance architecture. It expresses a harmony, proportion, and classical clarity. This small building became one of the most influential architectural works in history. The other of Bramante's greatest project was St. Peter's Basilica in Rome in 1506. The goal was to create the greatest church in Christianity. Bramante proposed a revolutionary design. Instead of traditional basilica, he designed a centralized Greek cross plan. The building would have massive dome, symmetrical geometry, monumental scale, and classical structure. This was inspired by ancient Roman architecture, especially the Pantheon. Bramante wanted to create a perfect geometric and spiritual space. Although he died before completion, his design shaped the future of the basilica. Later architects such as Michelangelo continued his vision. Today, St. Peter's Basilica remains one of the most important architectural works in the world. And Bramante believed in classical harmony and geometric order. His architecture was based on symmetry, proportion, geometry, and spatial clarity. He sought to revive ancient Roman architecture in a new Renaissance form. For Bramante, architecture was a mathematical and artistic discipline. Buildings should reflect universal harmony and human rationality. This philosophy became the foundation of High Renaissance architecture. Bramante's influence on architecture was enormous. He shaped the work of Michelangelo, Raphael, and Andrea Palladio. His ideas spread throughout Europe. Centralized plans, classical orders, and geometric harmony became the standard of Renaissance architecture. Palladio later developed these ideas into symmetrical architectural language. Bramante's work laid the foundation for classical architecture for centuries. So as a relevance today, Bramante remains relevant in contemporary architecture. His emphasis on geometry, proportion, and spatial clarity continues to influence architectural education. Many architectural schools still teach Renaissance principles based on Bramante's work. Concepts such as central planning, spatial harmony, and classical proportion and geometric order are still fundamental in architectural design. Even modern architects learn from Bramante's understanding of space and proportion. His work reminds us that architecture is not only construction, it is also mathematics, art, and philosophy. And Bramante is considered one of the founders of High Renaissance architecture. He transformed Rome into the center of classical architectural thinking. His work shaped St. Peter's Basilica and influenced the centuries of architectural development. Through projects like the Tempietto and St. Peter's Basilica, he defined the language of Renaissance architecture. Bramante showed that architecture could express harmony, order, and spatial meaning through the geometry. His legacy continues to shape architectural history and education today. Thank you for watching. I hope this video helps you better understand the foundation of architectural thinking. We are still climbing the ladder of knowledge in architecture, art, and design. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment below.